Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and welcome to my Telltale The Walking Dead TV adaptation series. This is Season 3, Episode 6, which is titled Cold Trail. So this episode, let's just get right into it, gets right back into the action right where we left off. Clem has just chopped off Wyatt's arm at the wrist, and Walker start attacking Wyatt, but Tavia and Bonnie come running to the rescue, so Wyatt is safe, he's okay. They help carry Wyatt as he passes out because of, him just getting his arm chopped off, basically. That freaked him out. He passed out, lost a lot of blood. They help carry Wyatt, of course, and Clem helps them clear away as she gets lost through the herd. She's forced to just keep running instead of fighting, and she gets to the woods as a walker attacks her, and she slices her cleaver straight through the walker's neck, which causes blood to come pouring out onto her. But she takes another swing, but through the head this time. And she spots Molly and runs to her, but Molly seems to not want Clem to follow, but she allows Clem to follow anyways. The others in the herd split up in different directions, and you just see Kenny sitting in the office room in the factory with the walkers outside trying to get in. He just sits there staring at the walkers, and he suddenly snaps. He takes a chair, smashes it, takes the leg off of it, and starts to sharpen it against the table. Lily and Nick run away together away from the walkers as they run into Darius, Omid, Shell, and Dave in the woods. They were all able to get away safely. Vince and Aaron are fighting walkers in the herd still as they make it to the woods and find Nancy, the older lady that they got from the community. She is sitting there being eaten alive by walkers, and they are grossed out by this sight, but they move on as they find Bonnie and Tavia carrying Wyatt. They say they have to go to the Civil War site. That's where they are supposed to meet up. They move on as an overhead shot of the hardware store is shown, and walkers are completely surrounding the place. And obviously some of the areas are destroyed from the recent battle. Kenny is still in the office room of the factory, but he opens up the door and takes all his anger out on the walkers with the chair leg, and he kills all of them in a bloody montage. Kenny leaves the room as he picks up an AK-47 from a dead body on the floor. He goes into the main portion of the store and finds some killers hanging around, waiting for the walkers to leave so they can leave as well. Kenny checks the ammunition and of the AK-47. He sticks it back in, cocks it back, and he opens fire on the 7 of the killers, killing all of them, except for one of them. One of them is still alive, but was shot in the shoulder by the AK, of course, and he's kind of crawling away. And Kenny goes up to him and smashes the guy's face in with the butt of his gun. Kenny's bandages are all messed up, so he goes to the infirmary for new ones, puts them on, and then he also goes to the armory and grabs a bunch of weapons and leaves out the side fully loaded. Molly continues down the road as Clem follows from a small distance away. Molly is moving rather fast as Clem tells her to slow down. Molly says she needs to get to that Civil War site before everyone else, and Clem asks why. Molly says she kept a bunch of supplies there before she was taken by these people. She needs to get it and leave. Clem asks why she has to leave, and Molly says she just can't be around other people. Clem keeps questioning her, but Molly really doesn't want to talk. She just wants to go. Clem says she needs to keep looking for the others. Molly says they'll be going to the Civil War site like she told them to, but Clem says some of them might not make it. Molly says helping people will just hold you back from being able to survive. Therefore, you can't always go back for them. You can't always try your best for those type of people. Clem says it's a very selfish way of looking at things. Vince, Aaron, Bonnie, Tavia, and Wyatt stop at a bathroom rest site in the woods. Bonnie uses some supplies she had in her bag to patch up Wyatt's stub on his hand. He's still unconscious, but he's alive. Lily, Nick, Darius, Omid, Shell, and Dave continue through the woods together. They keep an eye out for anyone around the area. Omid leads the way and says they should be headed for that Civil War site. Clem convinces Molly to stay around and help her find Sarah first. Then she can leave. Clem says Sarah, she was alone and she saw her run off, so she shouldn't be too far. Molly says she needs to find her sister. She says she was with her for a bit after she escaped from those men with Jordan. She returned to where she grew up and she found her. And she was with her. But then she got taken again, obviously. Clem asks what her name is, and Molly says Jane. So yes, Molly is Jane's sister. I know that wasn't like that in the game, but that's how it is going to be here. It's going to make for some interesting stuff. As they are walking, Clem notices Sarah's glasses on the floor. She picks them up as they come across an RV park. As they are doing this, Clem is still asking Molly all sorts of questions about her past life, about what she did with Jordan and stuff like that, because she knew that she was with Jordan, and they kind of had this whole conversation about that. Clem assumes that maybe Sarah went running in here, and Molly says she's not going to look longer than 30 minutes, and Clem says it's fine, so let's hurry up. They go into the RV park to look around. Back at Vince's group, Vince really tries to get everyone to continue moving as they rest near this bathroom site. Vince says they gotta find the others. Bonnie says they'll all be fine when they meet up at the Civil War site. Wyatt finally wakes up, but he starts freaking out when he sees that he doesn't have an arm, or really a hand, kind of part of his arm, not the whole arm. He starts freaking out. Tavy and Bonnie are there to calm him down. Walkers come across them, so Vince and Aaron are forced to take them out. More walkers start to come to the group, so they start moving. Back with Omid's group, their group are the first to make it to the Civil War site. It has a little museum that's indoors, some areas that are outdoors. They go inside and make sure it's all cleared out. Lily and Nick check out the theater area together. Shell and Dave stand watch outside, and Omid and Darius clear out the main lobby and also the main history section for the Civil War. That's, of course, inside of the museum. Lily and Nick find a room stacked with supplies, food, water, medicine. This is all of Molly's stuff, of course. We see Kenny continuing down the road as he follows in the direction of where Carver took Rebecca. He hopes he can maybe find where they went, but once he comes across the intersection, he has no idea where Carver could have taken her. Kenny gets pissed off as he decides to just take the left road and just hope for the best. Omid and Darius continue their search through the history section as they are suddenly approached from someone from the behind. This person aims his gun at them, and he tells them to drop their weapons. Omid turns around, and he sees that it is Jordan, so it's Jordan aiming his gun at them. Omid realizes who it is, and so does Jordan. He's quite happy to see Omid, and Omid is quite happy to see him. The group reunite in the lobby, as Jordan, of course, recognizes Lily as well. Omid didn't really know that Jordan knew Lily, but he does, and Lily, of course, knows Jordan. Lily says hi and that he doesn't have to worry about her. Lily says a girl named Molly sent them here from a camp they were at, and Jordan says him and Molly escaped from these psychopaths at this military base. Molly doesn't know he made it out, though, but they're always going with the plan to meet up here, and he was assuming she would be here. The group suddenly realized that those psychopaths he's talking about may be those people that just attacked Carver and his community. Just as they are talking, Vince's group makes it there as well. Everyone reunites, Vince kisses Shell, and everyone's all happy to see each other. Omid says they are still missing more. Kenny, Clem, Sarah, Molly, Rebecca, Sarita, of course, them not knowing that Sarita's dead. Lily is suddenly filled with immediate guilt. None of them even know what happened to Sarita, but Lily decides to tell the group that their friend Luke, specifically talking to Nick, that he's held captive by those psychos. They were using him as a bargaining chip to Carver. Nick says they gotta go get him, but the rest of the group calm him down and say they just escaped a battle. Why would they want to get involved in another one? At the RV park, Clem and Molly search around yelling out for Sarah. Walkers approach them. Clem uses her cleaver to take out one, but it gets stuck in its head. Molly gives Clem a knife and says that stuff like this will be much more useful for a small girl like you. Molly shows her how it's done and kicks a walker's leg down before stabbing it in the head. She says this is probably a much better way for you to take out walkers. Molly says just getting them on the ground overall makes them easier, and Clem does the same thing and kills one walker in that sort of a way and stabs the knife right through its eye. They do this just as they hear a scream coming from Sarah, of course, in a trailer surrounded by walkers. Molly uses a nearby car alarm and tosses the body of a walker on it so it keeps going as they go around the back of the other trailers to get to the front of the trailer that they want to get into. The door is locked as the walkers, of course, are now heading towards the car, but a few walkers turn around, so Clem is able to stab two of them in the head with her knife. Molly breaks down the door into the room as walkers start coming back as they hear her breaking down the door, so Molly pushes a cabinet in front of the door. Clem finds Sarah hiding in the bedroom of the trailer. She tells Clem that they have to go now. Clem tells Sarah that they have to go now. Sarah says her dad is gone and that she can't go on without him. Clem says she know what it feels like to lose her parents, and it sucks, but she can't let it destroy her like this. The walkers finally break in as Molly's forced into the bedroom with them, and she closes the door. The walkers are gonna get through any minute now. She notices a hatch in the ceiling that they can climb through, so Molly goes through. She tells Clem they have to go now. If she can't get her to follow, then she has to leave her. Don't let her bring you down too. Clem keeps yelling at Sarah to come, but Sarah keeps refusing, and Clem tells her to snap the fuck out of it, and Clem slaps her across the face. She suddenly does snap out of it, just as the walkers start to pour in. Molly lifts Sarah up, and then Clem as well, but the walkers grab onto Clem's leg, but Clem grabs her Glock and shoots the walker in the head, and her ears are like ringing like crazy because she just shot this gun in this little enclosed area, but she gets out safely through the top, and they are just on top of the trailer now, exhausted. At the Civil War site, Clem, Molly, and Sarah finally make it back there to see everyone else, and Molly is really surprised to see Jordan. Clem is upset not to see Kenny, Rebecca, or Sarita there though, but she is still pretty happy to see Jordan finally. Lily tells the group that she saw Sarita get shot. She finally decides to say it. She doesn't think she made it. Darius is devastated and gets pissed at her for not saying anything sooner. The group discuss Lily says that she didn't want to say anything. She was afraid how he was going to take it. The group discuss what's next. Clem says they should wait in case the others make it back. Jordan talks to Molly. Jordan tells Molly that your sister, Jane, is at the camp now. He says he saw her getting captured and transported as he was escaping. Molly is frustrated by this information. She tells this to Nick. Nick says his friend Luke is there as well. Jordan says his place is held down like a fortress, so there's no way they will be able to successfully get them out. Jordan says he only got out because of one of their challenges was kind of behind the walls of the community, and Calvin likely won't make that mistake again. Molly says they have to try something. Jordan says it's easier to escape from within the community than from us going in and trying to take them all out. That's just going to start a giant battle, and people will die. Molly asks the whole group back at the camp, they're all like laying around. She asks the whole group if they would do this, and the whole group is pretty clear on the fact that they do not want to die, so they say no. Nick says he doesn't blame them. He can't force them into something like that, but he also can't leave his friend there. Molly says she can't leave her sister there either. Kenny continues on the road, and he starts hearing voices and freaking out. He is losing it. He hears Katja, Duck, Lee, Sarita all talking to him. He also sees Larry, who says, "This is what you get, you fucking murderer." All the people Kenny has killed starts ringing in his ear as they say, "This is what you deserve." Kenny just drops to the floor in tears throughout this experience that's going on in his head. At the Civil War site, Tavia and Bonnie talk next to Wyatt, who is sleeping. Bonnie tells her that she just wishes she could have saved more people back there. Even Nancy, who got out, didn't make it. Tavia comforts her and says she did what she could, and that's enough. Bonnie apologizes to her about everything that's happened, and Tavia does the same. Vince and Shell relax together. Vince says he really wants a future with her, some future where they don't have to deal with these walkers and people dying and stuff. And she starts crying when she starts thinking about Becca again. Dave sits alone as Aaron approaches him and tries to get to know him. Jordan and Omid reminisce on everything that's happened, and we see Molly and Nick talking inside the museum. Molly keeps saying she wants to just run away, but Nick says she can't. She needs to just be with him and the people here. Only way she's going to actually make it. And Molly doesn't agree. She says that she'll actually be safer by herself, and that she's probably going to get killed because she's with other people. Clem is talking to Lily, and Clem says she did the right thing back there. Lily says she doesn't want her to look at her as the woman who killed Carly anymore. Lily says she just hopes Kenny is okay. Just as she says that, Kenny approaches the place looking crazy. Clem goes to hug him, but he doesn't really respond. He just sits down in the fountain, and he looks at Clem and tells her why the fuck she wasn't there for her. Clem questions what he means by this, and Kenny yells, "Sarita!" He says, "You were with her, and then you weren't, and now she's dead." And Clem says she's sorry, she lost sight of everyone for a couple seconds, but Kenny says, "You think because you're a little girl, you can just get people killed, and because you're sorry, it'll all just go away? That's not how it works." Just like he did in the game. I want that quote there. I love that quote. And Omid comes over and calms Kenny down. So does Jordan. And Kenny, seeing Jordan, he's like so many emotions go through his head, and he brings back so many flashbacks to Duck, Katja, to Ben dying, and all these things. And Kenny just loses it, as then he just sees Jordan as a walker for some reason, and he just attacks Jordan and grabs him by the throat. And everyone's like, "Holy shit!" And they're just grabbing him off of him. And Omid, Lily, and Aaron really hold him back this time and grab him off of Jordan. And Clem is just tearing up seeing Kenny like this. And then Kenny looks back at Aaron and remembers that his people killed Katja. And Kenny says, "I killed your brother. Remember that? I'm a murderer." And Aaron tells him to just snap out of it. He needs to calm down. And Kenny just gets up and says he's fine. And he walks into a tent because there's like a bunch of tents around this little area. He walks over to these tents and he lays on the ground of one of them. And the whole group is completely mortified by this, specifically Clementine. And that is the end of the episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. The next one, episode 7, is going to focus on Rebecca and Carver and what's happening with them, as well as the Killers community and what's going on with Luke and Jane within there. It's going to focus on that. And then episode 8 is going to focus on everyone. Again, we're going to see more stuff happening. You'll see. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.